happy about this situation?
Yes.
Yes.
Race motor.
What do you got there?
I wrapped it. Like Christmas. All right, we got the motor back from Tim McMaster this morning. Got it painted, and we're gonna start assembly right now. Get some carburetors on there and dress this baby up. Since we painted the car, I've been wrapping up a few things that were kind of falling behind on just fabrication stuff. I had to custom make the oil pan so that it fits in the belly pan. I had to build up these headers. I have two set header configuration going on. There's an inside set and the outside set. And be able to bolt in after the body is on. It's kind of a jigsaw puzzle. The nose of the body has to go on, the axle gets fished through, and the outside set of headers is going to connect to the inside set that way, because everything's so tight, there's no room to fit anything. Yeah, the roll cage, we had to, I had to weld the cage inside the car. I was really trying to avoid that because it's just a nightmare, and it pretty much sucked. But then I got all that done and got everything figured out and in place, and got it all painted inside there the other night. And we're ready for some cut and buff action and final assembly. Okay, today we got some goodies in the mail. Clive over at Stromberg is really hooking me up for this race season and for the foreseeable future. Sent me an E-Fire, brand new E-Fire distributor that's going to go on the car. They produce a good spark. This is going to be pretty awesome. Wow, look at this thing, it's beautiful. Well, the difference is you don't have points that can get all messed up and have to be adjusted and out of adjustment. This has electronic ignition. It should be a bolt-on and produce a good spark. It's going to be awesome. And I got some extra caps and rotors and some filters, and best of all, I got 4 brand new shiny carburetors to go on this beast. Oh yeah, those are beautiful. Stromberg, back in the old days of racing about 10 years ago, Ryan Cochran hooked us up with Clive on the Salt. And Clive walked up, introduced himself, and handed us 3 brand new boxes of Strombergs. We bolted those on the car as is, right out of the box, and we went out and set a record. I reached out to Clive a few months back, and I told Clive that, I was hoping he would extend that sponsorship from the prior racing days, and that this, I was trying to sell it by telling him there was going to be some magazine coverage and blah, blah, blah. And Clive immediately texted me back from England and said, "Lucky, I would sponsor you even if there was no magazine coverage." Clive has been very, very supportive and helping out. we're gonna go out there and bolt these 4 carbs up and see if we can't maybe get a record. Who knows? Hey, look at me, I'm going in a race car. One of the best parts and main reasons is I manufacture these air scoops. This is a Speed Equipment coupe. This is my company, Lucky Speed Equipment. And these air scoops are gonna dress up this motor quite nicely. This is another part I manufacture. These old Hawaiian inspired fuel blocks. I didn't put my name on them, but it says Speed Equipment. These ones, I did put my name on it, but you can't read them because I think that's kind of vain. I do, that's why I put it down there, so you didn't have to look at it, you know? And if people want to look at it, they can
Lay on the floor.
they can go like this. Oh yeah, that's the real shit. That's the real shit right there. We're gonna continue to start bolting stuff on, water pumps and crank pulleys and stuff like that. And we'll get this thing in the car in the next couple of days here. Pretty exciting. We're gonna run these flat out, wide open, and see what we can do. Break. One or the other. Something's gonna happen. We're either gonna go fast or we're gonna break shit.
Yep.
Turns out I'm at Lucky's Hot Rod Shop now.
Hey.
We're building a Bonneville car today.
I showed up. I'll be here till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a guy under there.
I'll stay here till
Who's this guy? Hiding over here. Someone over here, wiring guy.
Yeah.
Hi, buddy.
When I started building this car, I had the vision of what these headers were going to look like coming out of the bird's mouth here. I envisioned them sticking out of the car with an engine-turned aluminum back panel. When I went to cut that piece and drilled the holes for the header location, I quickly learned that it was never going to fit that way I envisioned it in my head. So I had to make a new plan. I had to split the piece into 2, and I just decided to brush finish it rather than engine turn it. It was getting too busy all of a sudden, so that's what happened. This is about the last time the car is ever going to look like this in this stage without letters and numbers. It looks pretty awesome as it is. It's an exciting time. To visually see the letters and numbers completes my vision of the car when I started it. When every visual I painted in my head for the 13 years of this build is about to come true, and it feels pretty good. This moment to visually see the letters and numbers completes my vision of the car when I started it. I had a really hard time trying to find someone to letter this car for me. I had a guy lined up, and I went to set a date with him, and all of a sudden he disappeared. I called a good friend, Dave Bond. He was busy leaving to Texas, so he turned me on to a local guy, Sonny Boy, and I talked to him. He was busy, couldn't make it happen, but he turned me on to his mentor. And it turns out none other than Dennis Jones, who is famous for lettering and numbering a bunch of land speed cars. So in the long run, it turned out this is the guy I needed to do my car for me.
You want the bigger one? That's 10.5 inches, and this one is 9 inches. Whatever you,
Yeah, I don't know.
I've approached you with a dilemma now, huh?
Wouldn't be the first.
And that's plenty big for the car and everything, you know.
Yeah, maybe that's too big, huh?
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably better.
I think this is the better one to use.
Are we gonna do, like, I don't know what you do, drop shadow or?
Yeah, we'll put a bold outline around it, whether we could even double line it to bring in another, we could put a bold black outline around it, and then a thinner, like an 1/8 inch, maybe a hair more than that, pinstripe between the silver and the black on the inside. So a double outline, thin line, and a thick line. And that other one could be in a cream, a light blue, a gold, bright red. That would look nice. You know, anything I'll do a little sample to show you. I'll put some leaf on something, we'll put a black with it, and we'll put a couple little strokes of different colors on it.
I can kind of visualize it.
Red will look as a trim color on this real nice. Like where we had the silver leaf letter with a black outline, then with a thin red line in between that. It looks real nice. That would go good with this color. Red being kind of a flip color from the blue stands out really pitching and with great pops. That's
Yeah,
right.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Started I lettered my first car at 15 years old before I even had a driver's license out of my folks' house in Pico Rivera. And kind of went on doing it from there. Thought I was going to be a commercial artist, and found out really what a commercial artist did, and found out I didn't like it. I liked working on cars, motorcycles, anything you could, modes of transportation that you would letter or stripe, and that was all kind of in those days, kind of cool. That was in the the late 50s or early 60s. It was on the weekends, lettering and striping, 50 Fords and putting names on the quarter panels and doing stuff and making $30 on a weekend or something, doing real good. So it was kind of a cool hobby, but I thought I was going to be a commercial artist, and then, like I say, I didn't like it, and so I got into being a sign painter. Went to LA Trade Tech College, took a full-time 2-year course at sign painting, worked 5 years as a sign painter, served my apprenticeship, became a journeyman sign painter. That was 65 through 70, and finally by 1970 I just got so busy doing my own thing that I quit the sign shop and went in business for myself in 1970. Worked out of my house for a couple of years. 1972 I got my first shop and been doing it ever since. I had a chance to letter a lot of land speed cars over my career, along with nostalgia drag racing nowadays and drag racing back in the day. Did top fuel cars, did funny cars, did fuel altereds, and plus all the street stuff that the common guy had that was a motorhead kind of guy. And they wanted to customize them. They wanted pinstriping on them or lettering on them or something, whatever it was, and lettering trucks and lettering commercial signs, and did the whole gamut of doing everything. I got to be really well known at laying gold leaf, and got to be quite well known, especially at that. And that's been a big part of my my career, doing that. Barron, Roth, and Kelly. Kelly's still around. The other guys are gone. And my mother took me to their shop in about 1959, I would say. I did not have a driver's license. She dropped me off, and it was their shop in Southgate, and I just stood there at the wall watching these guys work all the time. Slimbo was one of the guys that worked there also, and he came over to me and said, "Hey, you kind of like this stuff?" I said, "Yeah, I like to do this someday. I like doing this." He said, "Well, get yourself a piece of glass or a car fender or a deck lid or something like that, and just stripe on it, paint on it, wipe it off, do it over again, keep practicing." And that's what I did, and I eventually taught myself how to stripe real good and learned how to letter real good. I had the hand coordination skills to do all that and the eye for it. You know, I was able to do it, and I got to do some really cool stuff over the years. Some very famous cars. Very proud. Hope the car goes fast and is a success and don't have too much trouble with it. New car blues, you know, but it's a very cool looking car. I can't wait to see it on the ground and at Bonneville. It's going to be very good there.
We're getting ready to fire the engine for the first time. I've got to get some gas in it and see what she'll do. We don't even know if it runs yet. We don't know if racing in Bonneville is going to happen.
That sounds awesome.
So we got it fired. It was very exciting. In the same breath, I am so exhausted from the long days that I don't really know how to feel about it. It was exciting inside, but I had no emotion.
Waiting for that.
60 pounds of oil pressure. It is just what's next. What's next? Got to figure out what's next. Timing's off a little bit.
Carbs need a little tuning.
And I think that, I don't know, I think it sounds pretty good.
It sounded amazing.
Yeah.
Even running crappy sounded fucking
yeah.
so good. One way of doing it